Hello YouTube. Today I'll be showing you an updated Ornate Tortles guide. So basically the Ornate Tortles are located in the Ark in the Uncharted Isles. It requires 96 Hunter, but you can boost it from as low as 93 with the Hunter potion. It also requires impressing the locals mini quests. I also highly recommend that you complete the Flagfall mini quest and the Slisky's endgame quest. So I'm just gonna go over the basics of Uncharted Isles. They're basically instance islands, meaning that nobody can visit your island. So there's a boat to Uncharted Isles, and you basically go north of the Waiko Marketplace. Then to your left, you'll see it. Now this requires what is called supplies. You basically buy it from Rosie. It costs 25 chimes each supply. You can get 5 supplies daily from the crate. So depending on the size of the voyage, it'll cost a certain amount of supplies. For a long voyage, it'll cost 20 supplies. A medium voyage, it'll cost 12 supplies. And a short voyage, it'll only cost 5 supplies. Each Uncharted Isle you go has a chance to spawn Ornate Tortles. Now there are a couple of types of special resources, and this is why you're not guaranteed an Ornate Tortle spawn. Depending on the size of the island, there will be a certain number of special resources guaranteed. For a long voyage, there are 3 to 5 special resources. A medium voyage has 2 to 3 special resources guaranteed, and a short voyage can have either 0 or 1 special resource. So each colony of Ornate Tortles depletes completely, after around 200 successful catches. So when visiting the Uncharted Isles, you can actually claim an island, and then save all the resources from the claimed island. It requires the Flagfall mini quest, and this is why I highly recommend you do that, because basically the island resources reset at reset time after depletion. Only claimed islands can respawn at reset time. The unclaimed islands will not respawn. It only costs 3 supplies to return to your island. So to wrap it up, just claim a large island, preferably with at least 2 Tortle colonies. If you're constantly farming Tortles, then just go for small or medium voyages. Alright, so I'll get into the inventory setup. First and foremost, Crystallize and Protean traps do not work here, so don't bring either of them. So you want to bring 7 Ornate Tortle traps, 2 extra traps just in case you lose them. They're obtainable from the Tortsaurus store, which is southwest of the Waiko Marketplace. You also want to have Perfect Plus potion active, and I'll explain the 1 tick method later. You then want any Perfect Juju potion in your inventory. Finally, you want to bring a couple of Arctic Bear pouches, but it's pretty optional anyways, as they have pretty high success rates. So for my equipment setup, I brought an enhanced Yachtui stick. This gives me 5% more Hunter XP. Then I have the combined Catalyst Fragment, which basically resets any failed Tortle traps. It's really helpful because it makes it a lot more efficient. This is a Slisky's endgame reward. Then I have Necklace of Shadows, which is also another Slisky's endgame reward. It basically stops your summoning points from draining after the pouch has already been summoned. And another Slisky's endgame reward I have is Ring of Whispers. This boosts your Hunter levels by 3 invisible levels, which also stacks with Arctic Bear as well. This gives you a total of 10 invisible Hunter levels boosted. So while wearing all 3 pieces, you get a set effect. So once every 4 minutes of skilling, you'll see a purple orb spawn nearby. This is basically called Manifested Knowledge. You can click it instantly and you get instant XP. Then I have the full Hunter outfit, which is a reward from the Ark shop. It adds 6% more XP if you're wearing the full set. It also stacks with enhanced Yachtui stick, for a total of 11% more XP. Finally, I have the tier 3 tracker aura, and it's not really needed here because Tortles have a pretty high catch rate. So I'm just gonna get into the strategy, and this is called the 1 tick trap method. So previously I mentioned to use Legacy because of adrenaline potions. However, it's actually more click intensive because you can't use an action bar. Now this new 1 tick method can be done on EOC, so you don't have to use Legacy combat mode. Of course, the reason being is you get an action bar. This requires a Perfect Plus potion, which requires 99 Herblore to make. You also must buy and unlock the recipe from the mailer shop. On top of that, you must find a rare dungeoneering page. When you attempt to drink a Perfect Juju potion, it will not actually consume the potion, while the effect is active. So what you want to do is place the Perfect Juju potion and the Tortle trap on your action bar. Then you first want to attempt to drink the Perfect Juju potion, and then quickly set the Tortle trap. This will set the Tortle trap on the square you're standing on. So unlike Crystallized Grenwalls, instead of standing underneath the trap, you want to stand beside it. Now the reason being is, when you collect the Tortle trap, it does not immediately disappear, unlike box traps. So what happens if you don't have Perfect Plus unlocked? Well, don't worry skillers, or anyone who doesn't have 99 Herblore, because there's an alternative choice. Super Antipoison Plus Plus will last 12 minutes every dose, and attempting to drink a regular Antipoison instead won't actually consume the potion. It costs around 6k each dose, as of today's price, so it shouldn't be too expensive. Sometimes there are monsters nearby, and because you're wielding a Yachtui stick, you can attack them by accident. Nowadays you can toggle to get rid of the attack option. So you just go to your game settings, then hit the combat settings, then the attack option settings, then set the NPCs to hidden. As for the trap layout, it's pretty different depending on the island. You don't want to set traps too adjacent to each other, because you can't set traps underneath each other. The traps I would place are near the minimap icon. So the recent update fixed the bug so that you can place traps on top of the minimap icon. Sometimes you want to move the traps closer to the big cluster of spawns. So how does this compare to Crystallize Grenwalls? Well, they're actually a lot faster than Crystallize Grenwalls, and it's also cost free as well. Of course, skillers can't crystallize Grenwalls. And the coolest thing is, it's a lot less click intensive and a lot more relaxing than Grenwalls, because you don't have to time your crystallize properly. So in comparison to Protean traps, the Protean traps are pretty AFK, but they're actually slower than Tortles or Grenwalls. Another problem for many people is, there's no pet chance roll. Alright, so overall in 16 minutes, I depleted an island of 206 Tortles. I gained 365k XP in Hunter. If you were to extrapolate this in a full hour, you'd get a little over 1.2 mil XP per hour base. Using the enhanced Yaktui stick and the full Hunter outfit, you get a whopping 1.35 mil XP per hour for Hunter. So the extrapolation of the catch rate is 772 Tortles every hour. Now I have tested this multiple times recently, so I'm not actually BSing. The XP rates vary due to spawn time and ping on the server. And if they're stuck behind a skilling object, then you can just simply place your trap near them, and then it will lure them nearby. So as for the chime rates, it's around 2.3k chimes per hour. Each bowl requires 4 chippings. You can sell the bowl for 12 chimes each. Now this chime rate is not factoring in the time to craft the chippings into a bowl. So in conclusion, they're well worth doing. This is now the best Hunter XP in the game. So I would say from 96 all the way to 200 mil, just do Ornate Tortles. It's also the best way to get Hunter Pet since it gives the most rolls every hour. You can do this on a daily claim island and just deplete them, or if you're a little impatient, then you can simply explore more Uncharted Isles for more Tortles. So yeah, thanks for watching and I hope it helps. If I missed anything, feel free to ask.